My name is Martin Shakri Bennett, and I'm doing a series of clips in search of spirituality. And in this opening clip, I'm going to look at the intriguing question, what is the point of our existence? This question has been around as long as man began to abstract, and from that point the question is, who and why are we living? What is the point? And I'm going to endeavour to answer that from my own perspective, and in why I wrote a book called In Search of Spirituality, and a treatise which you can buy online from my publishing company. So what is the point of our existence? It seems to me that every human being is unique. I look at people and there's so many individual differences within humans, and they are highly complex, and it's these differences that really intrigue me, and why people are so different, and what does that mean for us as human beings. And the other question that I was reflecting on is consciousness, and what is consciousness, and what does that, how does that affect us? Well, of course it affects us in every single way, because it enables us to not only shape our own world and to think and create and understand in many different ways, on many different levels, the world we live in. So first of all, we have to understand that we live in a conscious universe. Now, there are multi-universes, but I think this is definitely a conscious universe. Other universes may have different dynamics, different structures, but this one is conscious. That the planets are conscious, the galaxies are conscious, the life on the planets are conscious, and we human beings have reached quite a high level of consciousness, and enables us to have an understanding of who and what we are. Now, it seems to me that what a point of our existence is the contributions that we make to consciousness. And we all can do that by pushing the barriers of what we know on the many different levels on different planes of existence. So, first of all, we understand that we live only in the present. There is no past, because we cannot go back to the past. We have memories, we can go back to the past, a lot of them are quite faulty, and we can look at the future, but that's never really accurate. But what we do know is where we are now, at the present, and that's where we should start. And by looking at our individual differences and our individual potential and exploring that, because every new thought, every new shape that we create in the world that we're living in alters and develops the consciousness for everybody. Nothing is lost. So it seems to me the point of existence is that we have a responsibility to develop whatever potential we have. And some of our potential may be in the crafts, it may be in care, it may be with nature, it may be with creativity, it may be with science, it can be in so many areas. And if we have an aptitude and a skill for that, it is our responsibility to explore it and extend it to as far as our capability. All this contributes to the consciousness of the world that we live in. And that consciousness then expands, and whatever we do is never lost. And it seems that the consciousness that we have at the moment, that we create, then is is communicated right away throughout the world into other people's consciousness. We're not quite sure how this happens, but we know that a development that may happen in one part of the world is picked up in another part of the world. And these are very exciting times as we begin more and more to become aware of ourselves and our potential. Unfortunately, our system of government, our system of education doesn't promote individuality. It promotes conformity, and a lot of our education is stultifying, and it doesn't allow people to express themselves. And so for many really gifted people, their talents and potential is lost, and we need to release everybody's potential. Now, having a point of existence and living now in the presence, it also means that there is no such thing as death. Not as we perceive the end of life, because consciousness cannot be destroyed. And that means that people who have lived within our lives cannot be destroyed. That consciousness is still there. Like the world is changing and shaping in many different forms, so death is just another shape that's taken place. And if we want to, and we'll be moving to that shortly, within maybe 50, 100 years, the idea that we will be able to communicate with people from the past will become very much centred to our consciousness. At the moment, it's separated, and we need to break those barriers and to link. We also need to know that we live on many different dimensions, many different levels, and these dimensions we have yet to even begin to understand where they are. And it's so exciting moving forward that we are going to discover, maybe not in my present conscious form, but in your conscious form, we will discover the many different levels, and will help change the way that we think. So there is so much to live for. And instead of anyone being depressed about the world, what we need to do is to shape the world. And whether it's a negative or positive way that we move the world, we are learning about what our world means and what our potential within the world and how we shape it. And the more we contribute to the consciousness of the world, and think this over, the more we contribute to the consciousness of the world, the more developed the consciousness becomes, the more we begin to understand where and what this consciousness is. And it's the key to who and what we are. If we took trees, for instance, they have a consciousness, and we could only, if only we could understand the consciousness that they have and how they communicate, and then we could tap into that, we would have a better understanding of nature and become more joined in with the world instead of alienated from the world in which we have become, which is a tragedy. Anyway, the following clips I will begin to discuss spirituality, because most concepts of spirituality are the mystic. I'm going to talk about spirituality which is common to every human being, which everyone will identify. And hopefully we can then begin our journey together. Okay.